Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share might completely change the way you look at the loose change sitting quietly in your drawer. Before we begin, take a moment and make sure you're subscribed, because the kind of information you're about to hear is not something most people ever come across. This is not just about coins. This is about hidden value, forgotten history, and the possibility that something small you've ignored for years could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. Today, we're diving into the world of the 5-cent Buffalo South African coin. At first glance, it looks ordinary. A small coin, often overlooked, often dismissed. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Some of these coins are not just currency. They are collectibles, rare artifacts, and in certain cases, they have sold for astonishing amounts that most people would never expect. Now imagine this. You're sitting at home, maybe going through an old box, maybe checking coins you've had for years. You pick up a 5-cent coin with a buffalo design. You've seen it before. It doesn't feel special. But what if I told you that in the right condition, with the right features, that exact coin could be worth not hundreds, not thousands, but millions? Yes, millions. Let's go deeper. The 5-cent buffalo coin from South Africa carries a design that immediately stands out: the powerful image of a buffalo. This is not just an animal. It represents strength, endurance, and African heritage. Coins like these were minted in different years, and each year carries its own story, its own rarity, and its own market demand. But here's where things get interesting. Not every 5-cent buffalo coin is valuable. In fact, most are still worth just a few cents. This is where knowledge becomes power. The difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary one comes down to a few critical factors. And if you understand these, you place yourself miles ahead of the average person. First, let's talk about condition. Condition is everything in the coin world. A coin that has been heavily used, scratched, worn down, or damaged will almost always be worth very little. But a coin that has been preserved, one that still holds its original shine, its crisp edges, its detailed design, that is where real value begins. Collectors use terms like uncirculated, mint state, and proof-like. These are not just fancy words. They define how rare and desirable a coin is. A 5-cent buffalo coin in mint condition is far more valuable than one that has passed through hundreds of hands. Now think about this. How many people actually protect their coins carefully? Very few. Which means high-quality versions of these coins are much rarer than you might expect. Second, let's talk about minting errors. This is where things become truly fascinating. Sometimes, during the minting process, mistakes happen. A coin might be struck slightly off-center. It might have a double image. It might contain unusual markings or variations that were never intended. To an average person, this might look like a defect. But to a collector, this is gold. Error coins are often far more valuable than regular coins because they are unique. No two error coins are exactly the same, and that uniqueness drives demand. Imagine holding a coin that is one of only a handful in the entire world. That's the kind of rarity collectors are willing to pay huge sums for. Third, let's talk about year and rarity. Not all years are equal. Some years had lower mintages, meaning fewer coins were produced. Others may have been released during specific historical periods, adding to their significance. Certain years of the 5-cent buffalo coin are far more sought after than others. If you happen to own one from a rare year, especially in excellent condition, you might be sitting on something incredibly valuable without even realizing it. And here's something most people never consider: demand. Value is not just about rarity. It's also about how many people want that coin. The buffalo design has strong appeal, especially among collectors who focus on African wildlife themes or historical South African coins. This creates a steady demand, And when demand meets rarity, prices can rise dramatically. Now, let's build the picture clearly. You have a coin. It's from a rare year. It's in excellent condition. It might even have a minting error. That combination is powerful. And this is where things start to move into unbelievable territory. There have been cases where rare coins, once ignored and forgotten, have later been discovered and sold for enormous amounts. The kind of money that can change lives. The kind of money that makes people wish they had looked more carefully at what they already owned. And this brings us to the most important part of this entire discussion. You must check your coins. Not casually. Not quickly. Carefully. Take your time. Look at the year. Examine the condition. Check for unusual details. Compare it with verified examples. Because the difference between a common coin and a rare one can be incredibly subtle, sometimes just a tiny detail that most people would miss. And that tiny detail could be worth millions. Now let's talk about the number everyone is waiting for. There are claims, reports, and collector discussions that certain rare variations of the 5-cent Buffalo South African coin, under extremely specific conditions, have reached staggering valuations. And the figure that has captured attention the most, $26 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin small enough to fit in your palm, potentially valued at $26 million. It sounds unbelievable. It sounds impossible. But in the world of rare collectibles, especially coins, such stories are not unheard of. When rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand all align perfectly, values can reach levels that defy logic. But here's the key. Not every coin will reach that level. In fact, only the rarest of the rare ever come close. So the real question is not whether every 5-cent Buffalo coin is valuable. The real question is, do you have the one that is? And the only way to find out is to look. This is where most people fail. They assume their coins are ordinary. They never check. They never research. And because of that, they might unknowingly pass up something incredibly valuable. Don't be that person. Be the one who looks deeper. Be the one who questions. Be the one who checks every detail. Because sometimes, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just one careful look. And remember this, coins are more than metal. They are history. They are stories. They are pieces of time that have survived decades, sometimes centuries. And occasionally, they are hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. So tonight, or whenever you have time, take out your coins. Find that 5-cent Buffalo coin. Hold it. Study it. Respect it. Because you never know. What looks like 5 cents might actually be worth $26 million. Now think about the journey that coin may have taken before it ever reached your hands. It could have passed through markets, through generations, through moments of history you can't even imagine. Every scratch, every slight mark, every detail carries a story. And yet, while most people see wear and tear, a true collector sees evidence, authenticity, and sometimes rarity. This is where your mindset has to shift. You are no longer just someone holding coins. You are someone investigating value. Someone searching for opportunity where others see nothing. Take that 5-cent Buffalo coin again in your mind. Look closely at the buffalo itself. Notice the lines, the texture, the sharpness of the engraving. On a high-value coin, these details remain incredibly clear. The muscles of the buffalo, the curve of its back, the strength in its stance. All of these are indicators. When these details are crisp and untouched, collectors immediately recognize quality. Now compare that to a worn coin. The buffalo looks faded. The edges are smooth. The fine details are gone. That difference alone can take a coin from being nearly worthless to being highly desirable. But don't stop there. Turn the coin over. Look at the text, the numbers, the spacing. Sometimes, tiny variations in font or alignment can signal something rare. A slightly shifted number, an unusual spacing, or even a minor inconsistency could point toward a minting variation. Most people will never notice this, but you will, because now you know what to look for. And here's something even more powerful: lighting. Yes, lighting matters more than most people think. When you examine your coin under proper light, especially a bright white light, details begin to appear that are invisible under normal conditions. Small scratches, mint luster, even hidden patterns can suddenly become visible. Serious collectors don't just glance at coins. They study them under magnification. They rotate them under light. They inspect every millimeter. That level of attention is what separates someone who misses value from someone who discovers it. Now let's take this even further. Storage. How a coin has been stored over the years can dramatically impact its value. Coins that have been kept in dry, protected environments, away from moisture and air exposure, tend to maintain their condition far better. On the other hand, coins left in open air, exposed to humidity, or stored improperly can develop corrosion, discoloration, or damage. So if you find a 5-cent buffalo coin that looks unusually clean, unusually well preserved, that is a signal. That is something worth paying attention to. Because preservation is rare, and rarity drives value. Another important factor that many overlook is authenticity. As values rise, so does the risk of replicas or altered coins entering the market. This is why serious collectors rely on verification methods. They compare weight, dimensions, and metallic composition. They study known authentic examples. They sometimes even consult experts. But here's the advantage you have: awareness. You now understand that not every coin should be taken at face value. If something seems unusual, if something stands out, it deserves deeper investigation. Now let's talk about timing. The value of coins is not static. It changes. It moves. It evolves with market demand. A coin that might not attract attention today could suddenly become highly desirable tomorrow. Trends shift. Collector interests change. New discoveries bring renewed focus to certain coins. This means one very important thing: holding onto the right coin at the right time can make a massive difference. Patience becomes power. Imagine someone who discovered a rare variation years ago but didn't sell it immediately. They held on to it. They waited. And when demand increased, when collectors began searching for that exact piece, its value multiplied. That is not luck. That is awareness combined with patience. And you have the chance to apply the same thinking. Now consider this scenario carefully. You find a 5-cent buffalo coin. It looks promising. The condition is good. The details are sharp. There might even be something slightly unusual about it. What do you do next? Most people would either ignore it or sell it quickly for a small amount. But that's not what you do. You research. You compare. You verify. You take your time. Because rushing is the fastest way to lose potential value. When it comes to rare coins, knowledge always pays more than speed. Now let's step into the mindset of a serious buyer, someone who is willing to pay large amounts for a coin. What are they looking for? They are not just buying metal. They are buying rarity. They are buying condition. They are buying uniqueness. They are buying a story. And most importantly, they are buying something that other collectors will also want. This is why certain coins reach extraordinary prices. It's not just about what the coin is. It's about how many people are competing to own it. Competition drives price. And when competition becomes intense, values can rise to levels that seem unbelievable. This brings us back to that powerful number, $26 million. You have to understand something clearly. That kind of value does not come from an ordinary situation. It comes from a perfect combination: extreme rarity, exceptional condition, strong demand, historical significance, possibly even a unique feature that sets the coin apart from all others. That is the level where records are broken. That is the level where headlines are made. And while not every coin will reach that level, the possibility exists within the world of rare coins. That possibility is what makes this journey so exciting, because you never truly know what you might find. Now let's talk about something even deeper: belief. Most people never discover valuable coins because they never believe they could. They assume that such finds are reserved for others, for experts, for professionals. But the truth is very different. Many incredible discoveries have been made by ordinary people. People who simply took the time to look. People who paid attention. People who refused to ignore what others overlooked. That could be you, right now, with the coins you already have. So instead of thinking, "This is probably nothing," start thinking, "What if this is something?" That single shift in thinking can open doors. Now imagine the moment. You examine a coin closely. You notice something unusual. You research it. You compare it. And slowly, you begin to realize that what you have is not common. Your heart rate increases. Your focus sharpens. You double-check everything. And then it becomes clear you are holding something rare. That moment is powerful, because in that moment, everything changes. What was once just a small coin becomes something meaningful, something valuable, something worth protecting, studying, and potentially presenting to the world. And this is why you must remain consistent. Don't check just one coin and stop. Check all of them. Every coin is an opportunity. Every detail matters. Every discovery begins with curiosity. And the more you look, the better you become at recognizing what stands out. Over time, your eye becomes sharper. Your judgment becomes stronger. You begin to notice things instantly that others would completely miss. That is how collectors are built. That is how value is found. Now let's bring everything together. You have a coin, the 5-cent Buffalo South African coin. You understand that its value depends on condition, rarity, errors, demand, and timing. You know how to examine it. You know what to look for. You know that extraordinary values are possible under the right circumstances. And most importantly, you know that the only way to discover value is to take action. So don't wait. Don't delay. Don't assume. Take your coins out today. Look at them carefully. Because somewhere, in a drawer, in a box, in a forgotten corner, there could be something waiting. Something small. Something silent. Something overlooked. But something incredibly valuable. And if that coin happens to be the right one, if it carries the right features, if it holds the right rarity, then what you're holding in your hand might not just be 5 cents. It might be a hidden piece of history. It might be a collector's dream. It might be the opportunity you never expected. And just maybe, it could be worth $26 million.